Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, March 11, 2019. I am Yvette Boynes with the details. Mercury is a common but dangerous substance found in many products here in SVG, and the government is doing its part to reduce the risk it poses on the environment. Today, the Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning and Sustainable Development, in collaboration with BCRC Caribbean, hosted a National Results Validation Workshop at the NIS Conference Room. The workshop was used to discuss findings of the research conducted under the Minamata initial assessment, designed to facilitate the proper management of mercury in the environment. Delivering remarks at the opening ceremony was Director of the Sustainable Development Unit in the Ministry of Finance, Janelle Miller-Findlay, who said though mercury poisoning is not a common topic, it is still an important one. She took the opportunity to highlight how dangerous the substance can be.
In liquid form, mercury evaporates at room temperature. When this vapor is inhaled, it is easily absorbed by the bloodstream into the bloodstream. The results, among others, can include nervous, digestive, and immune systems damage, paralysis, organ failure, and ultimately can result in death. Mercury contamination or poisoning does not cross our minds regularly, but this metal is found in a broad spectrum of everyday uses, of everyday items that we use, such as light bulbs, batteries, thermometers, skin lightening creams, to name a few. Its presence in the atmosphere, soil, and water has been exacerbated by improper management and disposal of end-of-life mercury-containing products and items. These anthropogenic releases of mercury has been a key factor in shaping the obligations under the Minamata Convention.
Miller-Findlay said while SVG is not a member of the Minamata Convention, a global treaty designed to protect the health of humans from mercury compounds and emissions, the government is aware of the need for sound mercury management. The Sustainable Development Unit's director said SVG's participation on the Minamata Initial Assessment Project is proof of the country's commitment to the management of mercury.
The project provided an opportunity for St. Vincent and the Grenadines to identify the main sources of mercury in the country and to conduct a complete assessment of a regulatory framework as it relates to mercury management. The project also provided an opportunity for public education and stakeholder participation, essential to the achievement of the project objectives. Among the main outcomes of the project are a rapid fish assessment which analyzed the total mercury concentration of 9 species of fish, an assessment of cosmetic and skincare products, mainly skin lightening creams, and an assessment of mercury levels in 40 women of childbearing age. We are grateful for the cooperation and support given to us by the BCRC, the BRI, Ms. Danielle and Ms. Romeo during this initial assessment and the valuable information produced. We anticipate the continued support by all parties and stakeholders in the next leg of our journey towards a sound mercury management in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Meanwhile, Director of BCRC Caribbean, Joel Bachesin, said the entity has conducted several Minamata assessments in many countries and plans to use the lessons learned to ensure success here in SVG.
The total number of MIAs being done globally, the center is actually completing at least 9% of the global Minamata initial assessments around the world. So it's really tantamount to the effort that we've put into the Minamata initial assessment. As you know, because you've been part of the process, the Minamata initial assessment has several components. The first is really to develop an inventory of mercury sources and releases in your environment. The second part is the legislative and policy framework to look at what can be done and what can't be done, and we'll hear from the consultants on this. And the last part is the communication pieces. So today we are presenting the results of the inventory. We'll present the results of the legislative review and policy review. And we want to also have start a bit of the discussion on the communication pieces going forward. Because as I said, we've done 4 MIAs and we can build on the work that has already been done so we don't duplicate the effort and St. Vincent and Grenadines gets their bang for their buck and it's done at a national level.
The country must take the lessons learned from the election petitions hearing into the next elections. So says opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday as he spoke at an NDP meeting held in Central Leeward last Sunday. Dr. Friday told the gathering that while they are anxiously awaiting the judge's decision on the case, there must be a focus on the upcoming general elections constitutionally due next year. He said those who are eligible to vote should register early in order to vote and make the change they want possible.
What happens in the next general election is what this is all about. It means now that we have to take the lessons that were learned from this process. We have learned a lot. There are so many people in this country now who understand that an election campaign and winning an election is not about the matter leading up to the day of the voting, that the day of the voting counts as well. So we have to make sure that you have all your children registered. Everybody who turned 18, don't take it for granted, go get them registered.
Highlighting areas where he believes the NDP will do well if elected into office, Dr. Friday said his party has unique plans to transform the country's agriculture and fisheries sector.
There are so many things that we can do to build a brighter future together. You have seen promise in the agricultural sector, our programs that we put forward. We have seen what we have talked about in fisheries, that we will create a specific ministry to promote this very important industry that we have not been taking advantage of. The reason we're doing those things is so that we could create employment opportunities and jobs for the people of this country. The dignity of work is what you must have in order to create a good life for the people of this country. All that happens in the court is leading to that. Remember that. What happens in the petition is all leading to that. And ultimately it leads to the next general election. So, my dear people, let us continue to fight the good fight. Let us continue to believe in ourselves. Let us continue to oppose injustice. Let us create a groundswell in this country that will remove the corruption that has now come to characterize this ULP administration.
In the area of health, the opposition leader said the current system is ineffective and proposed a national health insurance service for all Vincentians.
Is that we are going to start the National Health Insurance Service in this country so that basic health care is taken care of for everybody. We had proposed it years ago when we were in opposition, but the government changed and they did nothing about it. The second and equally important thing is that we will build a modern medical center to replace the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital, which has really expired. And we will do it using the Citizenship by Investment program, the money from that program. And that can be done within the first term of an NDP government, and I promise you, we will deliver that. So, what's the point of having a smart hospital if you don't have aspirin? You have to have the basics, otherwise it doesn't matter what name you gave to it.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment continues to pay close attention to healthcare infrastructure in the country. So said Minister of Health Senator Luke Brown as he responded to a question in Parliament today on the condition of some health centres in the South Central Windward constituency. Minister Brown said any cursory review of the expenditure over the years will show that a lot has been spent for the building of new infrastructure and their maintenance. He noted that clinics in SVG, just like any other buildings, suffer from general wear and tear, and in response to this reality in 2018, BRAXA carried out an assessment for work to be done on several of these facilities, with the cost of repairs which informed 2 projects in the estimates of revenue and expenditure for 2019, upgrading of health facilities and improvement to primary health care. In reference to the condition of health centres in the South Central Windward constituency, including Diamond and Lomans, Minister Brown told Parliament their physical condition doesn't affect the services provided at these facilities.
The Diamonds Clinic, Mr. Speaker, The Diamonds Clinic serves a population of over 4,000 persons and offers the following services: maternal and child health care, DMO clinics, emergency services, and on-call services. It's interesting to note that these on-call services are provided there, even though the nurse does not actually live at the quarters of the clinic, but with a cousin nearby, yet she responds to calls. The ministry is aware of minor leaks and a few other issues at the Diamonds Clinic, and addressing them has been factored into our work program. Importantly, the problems are done to be corrected and they do not affect the services at that facility. Mr. Speaker, I think that takes care of question number 19 asked by the Honourable Member. In relation to the Lomans Clinic, when I visited the Lomans Clinic yesterday, and indeed on earlier occasions, I had the opportunity to interact with villagers of Lomans who continue to thank the Unity Labour Party government for constructing a beautiful clinic at Lomans. I was reminded that under the NDP administration, it was a one-room clinic, and it took the hard work of the Honourable Selman Walters of the Unity Labour Party to turn that one-room clinic into a beautiful multi-million-dollar facility.
The Health Minister said that he is aware of the problem with the mold growth at the Greg's Health Centre, and the problem is being addressed.
I was making the point that in 2002, the Greg's facility was constructed by the Unity Labour Party government, and that we've done so much for the community of Greg's and South Central Windward generally. The ministry acknowledges that there is a problem with mold at the Doreen John Health Centre in Greg's. This problem is being comprehensively addressed, not by power washing, but through real serious measures and interventions geared at tackling the problem at its source. And I'd like to say that a cleaning, disinfecting, and sterilizing regime will be instituted to control the mold in the interim, pending an assessment and implementation of a comprehensive solution to be carried out in conjunction with state agencies responsible for the maintenance of government buildings.
The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, along with the 3 other shareholder governments of Liat and 1 other country, have agreed to make contributions to the $5.4 million emergency funding needed for the cash-strapped airline Liat. However, some of the airline's flights may have to be reduced as it operates at a low passenger load in some countries. This announcement was made in a ministerial statement to Parliament today by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. Larissa Pugs-Duquette tells us more.
Of the total $5.4 million emergency funding needed for Liat, SVG's financial contribution amounts to $723,711 for its 52 flights to the cash-strapped airline. While SVG has agreed to pay up its financial share to the regional airline, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves told Parliament today that the issue needs to be further addressed as the figures are questionable.
There are 52 departures per week, 13.4% of the total departures of these 8 countries, and they're asking is 723,711. But I've indicated we have asked them to refine these numbers. And we, because I have some questions about the numbers myself. The departure numbers and the asking number.
Prime Minister Gonsalves said that he is displeased with the negative comments made about Liat by other heads of states in recent times, as their comments have had a damaging effect on the airline. The PM said Liat as a company has to do better to manage its business if it has to continue its operations.
Margin model, it is likely that a few flights may be cut if the government is not prepared to fund them with a guarantee. For example, 2 flights from St. Lucia to St. Vincent and Grenadines have average passenger loads of 46%. One of the flights from Trinidad has a 38% average passenger load. Maybe another carrier, air carrier, perhaps a small one, registered in St. Vincent and Grenadines, may fill the breach on the St. Lucia SVG leg. In short, there are possible reconfigured options. In this respect, the regulatory authorities are urged to address expeditiously applications by other airlines, third-tier airlines, for the various routes in a reconfigured regional air transport industry.
PM Gonzalez also called on other countries served by Liat to step up and do their part to save the airline. He said that efforts made to get other countries such as St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis and Guyana on board have not been successful thus far. The PM noted that the 4 main shareholders of Liat, SVG, Barbados, Antigua and Barbuda, have committed to do their part, and Grenada has also agreed to assist.
Calls for a burden-sharing approach, including all stakeholders, labor, lessors of 7 of the aircrafts, suppliers and financiers. It involves, too, the introduction of a minimum revenue guarantee model, MRG model, from all countries served by Liat to be made effective from April 2019. If there are unfavorable responses from the various territories served by Liat and from the unions in respect of certain proposals, the shareholders may consider further options, including reducing the number of aircraft or even starting a new company.
Liat has been undergoing a major restructuring with help from the Caribbean Development Bank. The shareholders' meeting was held in SVG last Saturday, and Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves left the state today for another meeting in Barbados, which he is chairing to chart the way forward for the regional airline. Reporting for SVG-TV News, Larissa Pugsley-Kidd.
Agreeing that Liat needs to be restructured, Grenada Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell told the Grenadian Parliament that the airline must also demonstrate good business management.
Must demonstrate that it can provide itself with a serious business environment, that we won't have to be coming back to governments over the period of time over and over. And we make the point. We cannot continue, because even the subsidy we're now giving, you know what we're doing, in effect, to save Liat? Because of all the high taxes cost that we put on a ticket, all the countries, Trinidad, Barbados, Grenada, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Dominica, the cost of a ticket is sometimes cheaper from here to Miami than if to go from here to Barbados or Trinidad. It doesn't make any sense at all. We want others to realize that Liat will survive. So people won't start panicking, and next thing you have people at Liat start calling in the loans and all kinds of stuff, and then we have the crash. We can't afford this. So Grenada's done that, and I want all people to understand we're not going to be irresponsible and just go paying money, because people then say, oh, you're going to subsidize Liat. Well, why you subsidize? Pay the teachers the money, and pay this one, pay that one. You're hearing that kind of comment. We are not going to be irresponsible with the taxpayers' resources.
Vincentians are being encouraged to take inspiration from their Garifuna ancestors and do their part to assist more with nation building. The encouragement comes from President of the Garifuna Heritage Foundation, David Darky Williams, at today's opening of a 2-day exhibition being hosted on the compound of the National Trust, or the old public library building.
Now, when Chatelier was killed, his followers were taken and sent away. They ended up in Nicaragua and Guatemala and Belize and Honduras. And those same people that left St. Vincent, that was sent out of St. Vincent, they are the people we know today as the Garifuna. So anytime you hear about Garifuna, any place in the world you go, and you hear they talk about Garifuna, you will remember that the first place that Garifuna lived was St. Vincent.
The Garifuna Heritage Foundation is collaborating with other organizations in the region, including from Trinidad and Tobago, to reinvigorate the indigenous heritage here in SVG.
Is to really focus on uniting Maroons and indigenous peoples of the diaspora, let them work together. We all need to work together to embrace our culture, to pass on traditions, especially to the children, and to archive our history and set up more museums and, areas where the children can benefit, the children can learn, and we can keep the culture alive, because we are the keepers of the traditions.
The theme for this year's exhibition is From Orinoco to Exile. Persons visiting the exhibition will learn more on the Garifuna music, food, clothing, and on SVG's national hero Shatir. Local craftsmen and women are calling for a centralized location for them to showcase their products. Some of the exhibitors taking part in the two-day exhibition hosted by the Garifuna Heritage Foundation told SVG-TV News that Heritage Month affords them the opportunity to showcase and sell their products, but they feel that it is time for a permanent location to be put in place so that they can showcase their craft all year round.
Well, we've been trying to organize a group, an organization, and get the government, to help us. But, things are not going as we expected. Because really and truly, we need a local market here, especially for the tourists. When they come in, they ask, where's your local craft market? We have none. So mostly sometimes we go to the cruise ship boat when they open, and that's it.
I would suggest that we should have an art shop, like where we can be like every day, a store just for arts and craft, that we can, it's like an everyday job that we go into a job.
Well, we get sale. Sometimes we come on the street to go buy singer. And sometimes we have our own liquor selling in the streets. On the street sometimes too. But sometimes the space is what we don't have. So we can't make it on our own unless it's exhibition time.
We need a market for crafters, an area for just crafters only. Yeah, that's what we need.
Most of the products on display are handmade from local materials.
Veronica Charles, and my business name is Veronica's Creation in Annisville, and these are my type of business, bags, etc. And we have lists of different types of bags here, which is leather bags, genuine leather bags made from Brazil's. Our very own here in St. Vincent created this design, and whatever you put into a business is this is the result that you have here.
Okay, my name is Joanne Baptiste, and I'm from the Barley Craft Center. And we make bags, pan, baskets, table mats, hats. Even we make things from the grass as well, like hats, mats, even coal pots. We have
Irene Ben Ladle. I'm the owner of Reen's Ornamentation. Basically what I do upcycling. You're recycling, I do upcycling. I have all wine bottles that I cut and design to make centerpieces. I have also my bathroom set and my inspirational stone. I have candle holders from conch shells.
Quite some years now. I retired in 2010, and my granddaughters had me going. So they inspired me, in doing it. And mostly I do recycling, yeah. Like for instance, you see the Coke bottle and into containers, you can put your sweets or your jewelry.
My name is Melissa Patterson. My business is Abundance Creation. I do paper and fabric jewelry, and along as clutch buses to match. Because I make my beads from scratch. The paper and the fabric, yes. The paper takes about a week to make, as the fabric as well. A lot.
The exhibition will come to a close tomorrow, Tuesday, March 12th.